Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today so that we could discuss Leonard Part 6. Now, this movie stars Bill Cosby as a retired CIA agent, but not just any agent. This dude was like the star of stars, the all-star, every accolade. The GOAT of CIA agents is Bill Cosby in this movie, apparently. Anyway, he's retired. He runs a restaurant. And, he's got a good life. Everything's going pretty well, but he misses the excitement in the old days of doing like instead of dealing with customers, he wants to be dealing with important world issues. But he knows that that's all in the past, or is it? He's invited back into the mix whenever a rogue vegetarian tries to take over the world with an army of assassin animals, and Bill Cosby's got to roll into motion and put a stop to that. That's the premise of this movie. Leonard Part 6 is outrageous. There's a part of me that wants to like this because it is so bad. And it's so weird and random. And there are parts that, I think are entertaining, like Bill Cosby just riding an ostrich as he jumps off of an exploding building. Okay. But a lot of the stuff just doesn't even have that amount of like whimsy or interest. It's just kind of like random weird stuff thrown together. And it just doesn't really gel and it doesn't really seem weird. It seems like someone trying to be weird or being like quirky for the sake of being quirky instead of it being like, an organically weird or surreal experience. Like I said, there are parts that do work and that do genuinely seem like what the hell's going on in this movie, but it's just not enough. It just feels like somebody trying to make something outrageous. There's some interesting tie-ins with Coke. I'm going to put in the description a link to a documentary series that I find interesting about. It doesn't really deal with a lot of them making this movie, but it does deal with the connections to Bill Cosby and Coke, so I'm gonna put that in the description. Anyway, Leonard Part 6, it's not even so bad it's good. It's I don't even know how to explain it. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. I've seen much worse. At least this isn't like crushingly boring or slow paced. It's overly zany. It's forced zaniness. But some of it does work, most of it doesn't. In the end, it's just kind of like a groaner movie that, it's not boring, but you're ready for it to be over by the time it ends. Leonard Part 6, I feel like this movie should be right in my wheelhouse. This seems like the kind of thing that I would at least get some, like, camp value out of, but I really didn't outside of a handful of scenes and just kind of the ridiculousness of Bill Cosby as an ex-CIA agent, I guess. But in the end, Leonard Part 6 didn't do anything for me as far as being weird. It wasn't aggressively bad enough to be so bad that it's good, and it was just kind of there, and I was just kind of like, whatever. I wish it was either 100 times worse or I wish it was 100 times weirder either way. I just feel like this is just kind of like there, and I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, this movie has this reputation, but the movie itself is just kind of like, I don't know, it's just not as exciting or weird or quirky or bad as people say it is. It's just kind of like, meh, it's just there. Anyway, that's my review. Sorry for rambling. That's my review of Leonard Part 6. If you want to check out more, I got a YouTube playlist right here on YouTube, of course, since it's a YouTube playlist with over 1,000 movie reviews. But until then, thanks for watching this one. I do greatly appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you soon.